Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining Washington University's Olin Business School today for the fifth of our industry seminar series. Today, we are going to learn more about how some of our programs can help you in the field of operations and supply chain management. We have previously talked about finance, marketing, accounting, and consulting. And after today, you can also learn more about entrepreneurship, which is coming up on November 15th. More details can be found on our website about future sessions, or if you missed out on an earlier webinar, we can send you the link by email and you can watch it at your leisure. My name is Carynn Smith, and I work as a graduate program recruiter in the Olin Business School. So before we get started, let's cover some housekeeping matters. I want to make sure that everyone is set up to enjoy the presentation. I have muted your microphone so we can reduce background noise, and if anyone is having trouble hearing me, please use the raise your hand function or send a chat box message so we can help you as best we can. This webinar will be recorded, so if you need to leave early for any reason, don't worry. We will send you the recording via email as soon as it becomes available. We will take questions at the end of the presentation, but feel free to leave your questions in the Q&A function at any time. If it doesn't seem like your question benefits the larger group, or we run out of time to answer questions, we will be sure to follow up with you directly by the end of this week. Great, so let's get started. Today we're going to talk a little bit about the program offerings for supply chain management, some research, our experiential learning opportunities that are sure to enhance the student's experience, some additional resources that Olin and WashU has to give, some of the student organizations that will help you get involved in and outside of the classroom, and St. Louis. We offer many programs, but there are 3 programs at the Olin Business School that allow students to dive deeper into the desired field of supply chain management. The Olin Business School has 3 MBA formats: full-time MBA, professional, and executive. Available in the full-time program is a supply chain management platform that enables enhanced professionals to merge their passion with their intended career path. During their 2 years in the program, students will participate in the variety of industry seminars while enrolled in a semester of core curriculum classes, which will include industry speakers on campus the first semester across all 5 career platforms. In the spring semester, students will choose a platform that is most important to pursuing their true passion, which may be in operations and supply chain management or supply chain consulting in this case. After selecting a platform, students are encouraged to select elective courses that dive deeper into their areas of interest and are expected to participate in a summer internship that will give them a 360-degree approach to learning. The internship, practicum, or project of choice will gear students up for real-world resume-building experiences that allow students to lead and make an impact. This platform is meant to help align all areas of the program: academics, experiential projects, extracurricular activities, and internships. The Olin Business School also offers 2 specialized master's programs in accounting, supply chain management, business analytics, and finance. The MS in supply chain management program is a STEM designated and hands-on learning experience. This opportunity guarantees a deep understanding of the concepts and logistics, supply chain, change management, innovation, and integrated risk management. From day one, students will have access to top-tier career advising and support from our Western Career Center, whom is accessible staff and with industry experience. Students have the opportunity to participate in an internship during the summer term and ability to apply classroom skills and knowledge to real-world projects related to supply chain management. The MS in Business Analytics program prepares students to thrive in an emerging era of data-driven decision-making. Throughout the program, students have the opportunity to select the supply chain analytics track in order to become well-versed as a future analytics-driven business manager. This program is fast-paced for completion in 17 months, but there are part-time options available. Next, we will highlight 2 examples of our research centers designed to enhance the experience of our students. The Bowen Center for Supply Chain Innovation's mission is to create and disseminate knowledge on world-class supply chain management and operational excellence practices. The center's research really addresses timely operational excellence and supply chain strategy, execution and risk management issues, and is frequently quoted by the international press. There is an annual industry conference, Project of the Year Symposium, annual research conference, and operational excellence seminars for students to participate in. The sponsored practicum projects for students include Belden, Bowen, Edwards Jones, Caleres, and Monsanto. Another opportunity is the Research Center for Customer Analytics and Big Data. This is Washington University's hub for research, innovation, and applied knowledge in this burgeoning field. With the most up-to-the-minute analytical tools, training, software, and strategy, we show executives how companies arm themselves to compete in today's market using big data. Its mission is to drive industry adoption of analytics-driven strategy decision-making. It also connects business leaders with the expertise of Olin's faculty, other university partners, students, and our corporate advisor board to develop and share research, host educational forums, and apply big data analytics to real-world challenges. Some of the benefits include workshops, experiential learning, applied faculty research, and research roundtables. Be sure to check out our other research opportunities that are located on our website. For the people who are interested in the research side of supply chain management, here are 2 examples of some of the research publications that have been carried out by some of our distinguished faculty in the Olin Business School. The Center for Experiential Learning at Olin is a hub for active and experiential learning through business and nonprofit consulting. The CEL Practicum projects are available for for-profit companies, nonprofits, family businesses, and startups. You will need to apply to these programs, but you do get credit for your work and real-world experience for your resume. One of the CEL projects and offerings is the United Way Board Fellows Program. So let's take a look at some of the other examples of practicum projects, both through the Center for Experiential Learning and the Bowen Center for Supply Chain Innovation. Asperonian is an agricultural and social cooperative whose goal is to support the welfare of its community and growers. Established in 2001, Asperonian has since worked on improving the quality of life of 273 associated families. All are small-scale coffee producers located in the locality of La Union of the Nariño Department in southern Colombia. With the support of government and industry partners and the commitment of families, Asperonian seeks real solutions to the problems of poverty, economic insecurity, and drug cash crops by producing coffee and value-adding via processing and marketing done within the organization. The project included a cooperative of farmers in the rural town of La Union, southern Colombia, and they wanted to export its coffee beans directly to the U.S. market, which is the largest coffee importer and consumer in the world. In addition to bypassing the mills, roasters, agents, and other middlemen who mark up the price and pocket profits, the farmers didn't want to deal with the mega brands like Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts. The goal was to control the supply chain from their fields all the way to the coffee cups, but that was a daunting task without a business strategy or industry contracts in North America. The team's research included coffee tastings at local independent roasters in St. Louis, Skype calls with the client in Colombia facilitated by 3 Spanish-speaking team members, and investigating the rules and regulations governing coffee importation. Another organization, Emerson, is one of the many businesses Emerson Tool Company is one of the many businesses of Emerson, a Fortune 500 company. They make products such as commercial vacuums and ceiling fans. This team advised the company on where to locate spare parts of commercial vacuums in the warehouse network for subsidiary in Canada of Protein, which are a professional vacuums company. The options were Pharr, Texas, and Vancouver, Canada, and for each of the thousands of parts, the students devised a strategy of how to manage parts at each site. Another organization, the St. Louis Fashion Fund, is a startup in St. Louis looking to bring together fashion-minded individuals in the city. Started an incubator about 3 years ago, and first cohort started in January this year. Their industry focus is marketing. According to the project, they wanted to move from phase 1, which is a project incubator, to phase 2, building the fashion-minded community. They had to translate into the business world, so step by step, they created a plan to define and build the fashion community and got them on the same space and with other industries that support the industry. They also wanted to build out supply chain strategy here in St. Louis. They presented a minimum viable product, the idea of a cut and sew factory with small scale prototype, and then sent it to an offsite location for a larger production. 1 week after the final presentation, they attended their fundraiser and they had announced that they had raised funds to launch the cut and sew shop, which was fully invested. And the last organization is Express Scripts, which is another Fortune 500 company. Express Scripts is the 22nd largest in the United States, as well as the largest pharmacy benefit the largest pharmacy benefit management organization in the United States. They provide integrated pharmacy benefit management services, including network pharmacy claims processing, home delivery pharmacy services, specialty pharmacy benefit management through its subsidiary, Accredo, a benefit design consultation, drug utilization review, formulary management, and medical and drug data analysis services to manage drug plans for health plans, self-insured employees, and government agencies. The project team helped Express Scripts design their formulary, which is a challenging problem due to its scale, and helping Emerson identify opportunities to manage their indirect spend. Olin has a variety of additional resources, such as guest speakers, industry advisors, which are in the Western Career Center, some notable academic directors. The university also has the Scandalaire Center for Interdisciplinary Innovation and Entrepreneurship, which awarded over $70,000 in grants for startups and other innovative business opportunities. Not directly affiliated with Olin or WashU, but is important to talk about, is that the Council of Supply Chain Management and Professionals. These members have access to a host of networking and development opportunities, as well as resources to cutting-edge research, including the annual conference, local roundtables, a membership directory, academic case studies, and online education. One example of an upcoming case competition is the Monsanto Olin case competition. This year, students have the opportunity to participate in case competitions to showcase their analytical skills and bring pride and honor to Olin. The Monsanto Olin was written through the affiliation with the Boeing Center for Supply Chain Innovation and is designed for graduate students interested in global supply chain and technology management in the agribusiness environment. The competition consists of 2 rounds, one virtual and one on site, with a cash prize of $10,000 for the winning team. Olin and the Olin Supply Chain and Operations Association will sponsor one Olin team for the competition, and the teams, which must include at least 4 enrolled graduate students, can be a collaboration of 3 MBA students or 1 supply chain management specialized program student. There are a number of student organizations that are potentially related to Olin Business School in the supply chain management field. The student organizations give our students the opportunity to network with like-minded students and industry professionals, arrange guest speakers and roadshows, which are essential to the Olin experience. The Olin Supply Chain and Operations Association is dedicated to supporting Olin students in both the MBA and Masters of Supply Chain Management programs to develop their knowledge and passion for the field by building connections with alumni and supply chain professionals, collaborating with program officers to support students' professional development, and exposing students to companies, facilities, and careers in supply chain and operations management. We also have the Olin Technology Club, the Olin Big Data Association, and the Olin Strategy and Consulting Association. There are a variety of career opportunities that our students The stats shown above are for those graduating in 2017 and show the job functions or areas in which our graduates are seeking jobs. Examples of some companies who have hired our graduate students are on the bottom part of the slide. They include Deloitte, Johnson & Johnson, Nestle Purina Pet Care Co., and U.S. Foods. It is also important for us to talk a little bit about what St. Louis has to offer, as it is a great and upcoming city within Missouri, where Washington University in St. Louis is located. St. Louis is known for their barbecue. We're also known for beer and different brewing companies, as well as sports teams like the St. Louis Cardinals, which is our American baseball team, and the St. Louis Blues, which is our hockey team. On the professional side, St. Louis is home to 9 Fortune 500 companies and 18 Fortune 1000 companies. It was recently ranked one of the top 5 fastest growing cities in the U.S. for startups. There is a strong supply chain management presence in St. Louis, ranging from internship opportunities with companies such as Nestle Purina, Bechtel, and Canadian National Railway, to an average of over 1,000 supply chain jobs available each year. Some of these jobs include Harbor Freight Tools USA Incorporated, Boeing, Monsanto, the St. Louis Cardinals, PepsiCo, Caleres, PricewaterhouseCoopers, Nike, and Emerson. Most recently in the supply chain industry, Pipeline Foods announced the opening of a regional office here in St. Louis to accelerate its food and ingredient business. This global organization focuses on developing sustainable supply chains and agricultural with a focus on non-GMO and organic grains, oilseeds, and ingredients for food and feed will open. This office will open at the end of this year and is sure to bring even more supply chain presence to this area. So thank you. I want to thank you for your time this afternoon and talking and listening to us as we go through all of our information. If you have any questions, please feel free to write in our chat space. And it seems that we have a question from a guest. Can students in the MS Business Analytics with specialization in supply chain management participate in the Monsanto Olin case competition?
So I'm going to step in here as well. My name is Megan. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming, and in particular to Carynn, who has been kind enough to step in and take care of this webinar for me today, as I have a little bit of a cold and probably wouldn't last the full 30 minutes. So I do want to respond to that question and just let you know that because we are looking at this current year, it does state that it is just the supply chain management students and the full-time MBA students that qualify for the Olin case competition. But understand that we're also rebranding our business analytics program, so those tracks in supply chain management analytics are going to be new for next year. So as a result of that, I will say that most likely next year this will also be a case competition that is available to those in business analytics that are looking at a focus in supply chain management. And because that change is just happening this year, it isn't as reflective in this year's competition, but certainly by the time you would start the program, that would be an option for you as well. Are there any other questions that we have out there that we might be able to assist people with at this point in time? Okay, it looks like it might be a little quiet on the Q&A front, but that's not a problem at all. We certainly do have some opportunities here as well for you to connect. Take a look at the screen that we have right now for any upcoming opportunities to be able to engage with our office. Definitely start that application if that's where you're at in the point of being prepared, and we can certainly help you with some additional webinars that we have coming up as well in entrepreneurship, and then also in financing your graduation, or your graduate rather, education, which is always the challenging part. I do see in the chat box that we have an additional question here about career development and capturing job opportunities. And so there are a variety of different ways that our Western Career Center helps you through that support network. Excuse me. We do have a Western Career Center guide that is available online. If you just Google WCC Career Guide, it's a really great starting point for you to be able to understand what you need to prepare to be successful in interviewing, in cover letters, in networking, in your CV. All of those things will be captured there for you. In addition to that, as Carynn mentioned before, we do also have some industry advisors in our field of supply chain management as well in the Western Career Center that can certainly help you navigate what opportunities are out there. I would also say building relationships with those faculty is really helpful. So we have had students in the past that through those network connections, the faculty that have stayed engaged with other alumni coming through the different programs have been able to help you successfully find job opportunities that way as well. In addition to that, those practicum projects that you can do is a great way to build on your resume as well and develop you in your career, especially if this is a new industry that you're looking at or you're looking to career change from something else, to be able to show to employers that you can be successful there. There are, in addition to that, a number of workshops through orientation that are held by the Western Career Center. So you'll have a chance to work through a lot of different ways to enhance your LinkedIn profile, looking at some other additional programming that you can do to make sure that you have the skill sets or at least the basic knowledge for some of those supply chain software programs that are common in different jobs that you might be taking. And so definitely you can utilize those as well. I'd recommend visiting our Western Career Center website for a little bit more of a detailed basis of what might be included in there, but definitely we can talk about that further offline. We have somebody here who's interested in the full-time MBA course. Bear with me while I just take a look at it. It looks as if you're looking at the work experience hindering chances. And so this is a pretty specific discussion. We do look holistically at the application, so I can say that. We have a range from anywhere from no work experience all the way up to anywhere to 10 to 15 years of work experience. It's really about the quality of the experience that you have and the progression that you've made. So that's definitely something I would recommend reaching out to that Olin Grad Admissions at worcester.edu email that you can see at the bottom of the screen there, and we can have a conversation with your recruiter about how to best navigate your application specifically. And there's also another question here about supply chain management jobs, more for students with undergraduate backgrounds in engineering. Students coming in with social sciences, that's a really good question. And again, that might be something that might be more specific to how you would brand yourself and market yourself with your experience. If you're looking at the full-time versus the Masters of Science in Supply Chain Management positions, you will see that there's a different group coming through there from their undergrad experiences as well. So we could certainly help you navigate that. Again, that Olin Grad Admissions at worcester.edu is the best way to reach out to us, and we can have a one-on-one conversation about how you might be able to leverage that experience into a role in supply chain management. And then with regards to another question here about if you don't have prior experience in supply chain management, can you work in supply chain consulting after your MBA with a concentration in supply chain? Again, that's going to differ from person to person. We have seen students do that before. It really is about the experiences that you have, how you market yourself, how best you use the resources we have here. And for that, again, that example of the practicum projects is a really great way for you to be able to put some experience on your resume and be able to sell that as a way to be able to get involved. It may change, you know, which bucket you're looking at as far as the kinds of jobs you get. So if you're looking to change, you might have a situation where maybe it affects your outgoing salary, but that's all going to depend on a lot of different circumstances as well as the market externally to the business school. There are some of the program coursework that crosses over between the MBA and the supply chain management students. I actually did the professional MBA program myself and found myself in teams where we had full-time MBAs, part-time MBAs, and supply chain management students. It's a great way to get exposure to a much larger network and also to learn about, you know, the different people and the different backgrounds and diversity of those coming through the program, mainly because you do see, again, that average of around 5 years of experience for the MBA versus a supply chain management where you've got people coming through with, typically speaking, 0 to 2 years of work experience. So a very different group with very different experiences, but a lot to learn from each other. The number of students with a supply chain concentration in an MBA, that's a great question. It's not one that I actually have with me at this point in time. You can tell a little bit from the career statistics. I believe it was around, it was between 10 to 15% of students go into supply chain. Not all of those students I know necessarily take all of the requirements to do a platform, but they are very heavy in the courses they take in supply chain management. So again, one thing I will say for those full-time MBAs out there, there are students that don't take any platform. They just consider themselves a concentration in a certain area, so they haven't necessarily had the opportunity to fulfill all of the requirements for that to be on their transcript, but they can certainly talk about that on their resume and talk to their experience when they are looking at being hired by employers and taking those job interviews. So I would say, you know, from that 10 to 15%, you could probably reduce that down a little bit to get an idea of how many people are actually concentrating in that space. But certainly we have a lot of people taking classes in supply chain management. Okay, so the repetition of the website where you can visit to schedule a one-on-one session, it's actually the email address in red at the bottom of the screen. I'm going to see if hopefully you can see our little arrow come across here. The bottom left-hand side of the screen that you should be seeing right now says Olin Grad Admissions at worcester.edu. If you send your email there, we'll be able to help you to be able to set up a time with the recruiter to talk through your personal circumstances, help you with the application process, and answer any other questions you might have. In addition to that, we can also connect you with some of our current students that are in that space. And we also, on our website, have an Ask a Student page for both our full-time MBA, professional MBA, and then also our Masters of Science in Supply Chain Management. Those that are looking at the business analytics side, again, that is a new track in supply chain management. So you may want to touch base with a combination of the customer analytics students as well as the supply chain management students to get a good perspective of what that might look like at this point in time. Okay, I think that covers everything that we have at this point, but as I mentioned, if you do have any other questions, please feel free to reach out to us. We'd be happy to assist. Again, actually, it looks like there's another question that's just popped up, and we'll make this our last question for now, but please add anything else and we can follow up with you at a later time. The question is about the curriculum for supply chain electives for full-time MBA students, and is there any prior knowledge required or experience in the field? So through our core classes that you would do in the full-time MBA program, you will actually be covering any prerequisites that you would need for any future classes you would take. So the very first semester that you're here as a full-time MBA student, you'll be required to take your core classes, and one of those classes is operations management, which would be a typical prerequisite for any of the other classes you might choose as electives in supply chain management. So anything that you would need, you will be covering no matter what, because that's how you obtain your degree. Excellent. Well, thank you so much for everybody for joining us. Again, I'm going to just step in here and say a huge thank you to Carynn for covering for me today while I've been a little bit under the weather. I'm glad we were able to answer all of the questions at this point in time. But don't forget, Olin Grad Admissions at woostel.edu. We're happy to help, and we'd love to hear from you and get you engaged and continue to help you prepare for that application in the future. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful day.